Hey guys, welcome back to Legit Street Cars and welcome to a gigantic car update video. If you guys have been wondering about any of the cars throughout pretty much all of 2022 and earlier than that, this is the video for you. And we're starting off with this, my SVT Lightning, which we need to replace another engine on. So if you guys saw the last videos on the Lightning, you know that this was a temporary engine. So the eBay seller of the engine was willing to basically let me borrow it for 3 months for the eBay tour that the truck was on. So it went all around the country and it was at about 15 different shows. It was a really cool opportunity. I met up with the Lightning twice, once in Michigan and once in Los Angeles. So they are taking the long block back. It's definitely cost me money to do this. They didn't just do it as a favor. But I am keeping the aftermarket supercharger, mid-plate, throttle body, and a few other aftermarket goodies that we're gonna transfer to the original block, which is still at the machine shop. I waited about 4 months for the aftermarket connecting rods, and then the crankshaft was on back order from Ford, but everything is in the machine shop, says they're working on it. So we're gonna be making a video where Peter and I fully assemble our forged engine here at Legit Street Quarters, pop it in the Lightning, we tune it, and we go for about 500-ish wheel horsepower, rendering this pickup truck even more useless on the street because it has zero traction, but it's gonna sound awesome. We're putting different cams in it. It's gonna have that awesome blower whine that everybody knows and loves on a Lightning. And then I'm keeping this truck. I'm gonna cruise it around and just have fun with it. Oh, and this is a good time to kind of show you guys what Peter does sometimes, which is work on projects off camera. So this is something we've already done. We've already removed this engine and taken it apart. I'm not gonna make a separate video of doing all of this again, but it needs to be done so we can put this on a pallet and ship it. So while I'm filming videos, working on other cars like this one and every other one, Peter's kind of doing this stuff off camera. So this helps me greatly because before I was doing all of this myself. So thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
Next up is a car that's not here at Legit Street Quarters and one that I don't own, and it is, of course, the red Fox body Mustang. So I really enjoyed that project. Peter and I had a blast resurrecting that car. It had been sitting for 25 years, most of the time outside, and that was just some good old-fashioned fun. That car is in good shape. It has good bones. And the last video, we detailed it. It looked amazing. We barely put any money into that detail. It does need some paint work, but unfortunately, it had some clutch issues. So Eli, who owns the car, was able to temporarily get it going by replacing the clutch cable and adjusting it. But then a few hundred miles later, the clutch just gave up. It basically fused itself to the flywheel. We thought that was kind of happening before anyway. So he's in the middle of a clutch job. So it's Eli's Mustang. He wants to work on it. He's doing it at home. He's learning a lot. And he also wants to start making YouTube videos on it as well. So if his channel is out by the time this video comes out, I'll drop it down below if you guys want to follow along with the Fox body Mustang. And then one day it'll be back at the shop, and I'm sure we'll continue on with little things on there. But that's his car, and I want him to work on it. He's interested in learning, so it's just about the best ending to that kind of series as we can get. Next up, we have another 80s classic, my 1986 Buick Grand National. So we rescued this guy from a storage unit in Wisconsin. The previous owner to me had bought it from one of his friend's wives. So his friend passed away, and to make his friend's wife's life easier, he purchased it from her, but he really didn't have any intentions to keep it, so he just stuffed it away in a cheap storage unit for a few years. So it'd been sitting for about 10 years. We got it out of Wisconsin, got it back here to Legit Street Quarters after a bunch of work in a parking lot. And then we found a rod knock. We temporarily fixed that with some connecting rod bearings, and then in the last video, we got it running really nicely. So up next for the Grand National is we have a whole slew of performance parts on the way. We're gonna try and make this thing kind of a quicker and more reliable car as well. And then long-term plans will be a frame-off restoration. It's already been painted and the seats are in excellent condition. We have them covered right now, but I'll pop up a little clip of me showing you guys the seats from before. They are in great shape. The carpet has already been replaced. And I found an upholstery shop 1 block away that's going to redo our headliner. So this thing is going to be ready to go for the spring. And I do plan on keeping this one basically forever. Some GM quality door action there. There we go, forever. Now something else that I would like to keep forever is my hair, and that's why I use Keeps, because 2 out of 3 men by the age of 35 will experience some form of male pattern baldness, and there's something we can do about this, guys, and it comes in a little white bottle. So Keeps is a subscription service that makes treating male pattern baldness easy and affordable by keeping everything online, and it's as easy as a few drops on your head. The sooner you get started, the better, as it takes about 4 to 6 months to start seeing results, and it's super easy. You consult with a real doctor from the comfort of your own home, come up with a game plan, and then Keeps is shipped automatically and discreetly to your home, and the results speak for themselves. You can do something about your male pattern baldness, and you can do it right now. So hair loss stops now with Keeps, and the best part is, if you guys want to claim a killer special offer, all you have to do is click on my link down below or go to keeps.com/legit. That's keeps.com/legit. You got nothing else to lose but more hair on your head. Here's one Peter and I are currently in the middle of making a video on. So a lot of times we're working on multiple cars at the same time because of ordering parts and stuff like that. So we're not going to just stop everything we're doing because we're waiting on parts. We have plenty of cars to work on. So right now we are working on getting this thing to run and drive a lot better. There are about, I don't know, 50 million little things that need to be fixed on this K24 turbo Honda swapped Mercedes, including, we just got these in, I guess. We got some brake pads and some much needed hood struts and a lot of other little things. So a video will be coming out on this soon because it actually wouldn't move again just shortly after we got it back to Chicago. It's actually kind of scary, but wait for that video. We're working on the Honda Katie's, Honda, whatever you want to call this thing. And then I don't know, my plans for this is just silliness. I don't think I'll keep it forever. We're gonna try out an electric turbocharger though, just as an experiment, and we'll play around and have fun and eventually sell it. So this is half Mercedes, half Honda, so it's kind of a multiracial German-Japanese car. And this is kind of multiracial as well. It's kind of half Japanese, half American.
Who's like that?
I don't know who else is like that. It's weird. So here's my 1995 Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX 5-speed manual. This car is from Nevada. It is completely rust-free, which is very rare, and it's mostly stock. It does have 250,000 miles on it, but it runs and drives okay. It needs a little bit of work, but this is a perfect foundation for my dream DSM build. So we are going to be building a 6-bolt 4G63T engine for it, built transmission, and we are going to have it painted. We're going to update the bumpers to the 97 and 99 spec, whatever years they did the kind of the more known body kit on these. Different wheels, bigger brakes, the whole 9 yards. We're going to have some of the interior redone. It's a race car, so it's got a helmet in it. I'm going to keep the interior pretty much factory. It's very nice and intact, except, you know, some of the leather's worn out, so the upholstery shop is going to fix that up, but it's going to have a mostly stock interior. I just want this to be kind of an adult DSM build because so many of these things were just hacked up by teenagers when they were cheap. No knock on teenagers hacking stuff up. I did my fair share just on American cars. I had 2 Trans Ams when I was like 16 and 17, so I know what that's like. But basically, not many of these survived, and they were prone to rust, so there's just not too many nice, clean examples left on the road. So we are going to build this up, but it's going to be a real legit street car. It's going to look nice and professional, and it's just going to function properly. This engine is actually for Peter's Conquest, so this is a built 6-bolt, the same thing basically that's going to go in this, but it's going to go in Peter's Conquest, which I'll show you guys outside. Next up is my 2001 Turbo Trans Am. This is a car that's going to be in every one of my car update videos for the rest of time because I don't ever plan on selling it. I've had it for 20 years now. I bought it when I was 18 years old, and I have removed every nut and bolt from this car. It's been through so many different setups. It was a big choppy cam nitrous car at one point. It was originally a 6-speed manual. Now it has a stalled automatic with a trans brake, launch control, 2-step, all that kind of good stuff, and a gigantic, well, turbo that's missing right now because I sent it out. Comp Turbos is sending me their latest and greatest waterless, oilless turbo. So very excited for that. So it doesn't run currently because it's missing the turbo. And the interior is slightly taken apart because I may or may not have ripped the entire stereo system out of that blue WS6, and I may or may not be adding it to my car because I really want it. But we're going to be putting a 6-speed manual back in this car as well. It's going to get lowered. We're going to get rid of the drag racing suspension. I may change up the wheels again. It's been about 12 years. I'm due for that. And then I'll just flush them out. Nothing weird. I mean, it's just going to look really clean, but I might kind of just flush them out to the fenders and quarters, lower the thing. It'll be a manual. It'll handle really well. We'll redo the suspension, and it'll still have, well, with the 6-speed manual, it'll probably show closer to 1,000 wheel horsepower, especially with the bigger turbo. Yeah, this car has like 74,000 miles on the body. That's about it. Built 370 cubic inch iron block that I got from a junkyard from a Silverado. It's still an LS though. People are like, that's an LQ9. I'm like, whatever. Stock head, stock intake. It's an LS and I love it and I'm never getting rid of this car. So anyway, there is my Turbo Trans Am. And moving on to another boosted white vehicle would be my wife's 2011 Mustang GT California Special that has a couple of turbochargers under the hood. And here they are. So this car is pretty much done. There's really nothing wrong with it, except when we have the HVAC system on, you can smell a little bit of exhaust in the car. So I think there is an exhaust leak there. And there's a weird stumble every once in a while. So I guess there's kind of like 2 things wrong with it, but nothing that's a big deal. But it's winter time, so this is at the shop kind of for storage. Beautiful car, 75,000 miles. It's got like 600 wheel horsepower, which is exactly how much horsepower every wife out there needs. So wives, if you are watching, you need 600 wheel horsepower. It's for safety. You need to be able to get out of the way of other cars to protect yourself. So if your husband happens to order like a big supercharger or a couple of turbos and they end up, you know, like on your car that he actually just takes to his shop all the time and drives and it almost seems like it's his car, if that happens, it's for safety. Moving on to some more boosted goodness, we have our 1993 40th anniversary ruby red Chevrolet Corvette. So this is ProCharged, and the guys from ProCharger are flying out here. Like the guys that work there are going to come out here with a brand new ProCharger because they looked up the serial number on this one and it was one of the original LT1 superchargers, and they're like proud of that. So they're going to take this one with them and give me the latest and greatest ProCharger. So very, very cool. I'm super excited for them to come out and for us to make some content on this. And we're probably going to tune it as well with the new supercharger. But anyway, we got this from an auction. It was pretty much abandoned for 6 years. It's got kind of a weird, mysterious story. And I ended up knowing the previous longtime owner of this car. So I'll leave a link to a really cool video on LegitStreetCars 2, my second channel, of a phone conversation. I made a phone conversation video with this previous owner. This guy Marlon owned this thing. Hey there, Alex. And he let us know a lot of the history of the car because it was just sitting at an auction. I got it for like $3,000. It looked horrible. We fixed everything up, and this is what we have, a 69,000 mile clean title boosted C4. And because I put new wheels on it, I might have like $4,000 into this car. It was just an amazing deal. We cleaned up the interior, and she shines bright like a diamond. I don't know. And after the ProCharger video and after the weather clears up, we're gonna go pick up Marlon in his old car. He owns an LS3 C6 Corvette with a supercharger on it now, but we're gonna go pick up Marlon, show him his old car, kind of bring him back to his glory days in Ruby. That's what he nicknamed it. And yes, that's Cletus McFarland's nickname for his Corvette as well. A lot of people got upset about that. I'd mentioned that he named this thing Ruby 20 years ago, and people were like, Cletus has a car named Ruby, you can't name it Ruby. And they might have said it just like that. Sounds kind of Cletus-y. But anyway, this was Ruby 20 years ago. Sorry, Cletus. And I'm letting Marlon continue to call it Ruby forever. All right, this is a car I can't really show you just yet because we haven't revealed it on the channel. This thing is insane. It's coming out soon. Let me see if I pull up a little section of it. Will it give it away? Place your guesses down below based solely off of this right here, that it has a carbon fiber hood and fender. Oh, and door as well. Place your guesses down below. What is this insane car? A couple updates on engines that are sitting here in Engine Alley. We did get an engine for the 99 Cobra, which is outside, and I'll go show you guys that. So we have a forged engine. This is a built-up engine. It has about 10,000 miles. I haven't personally inspected this engine, but supposedly it passed a compression test and a borescope test. Crossing my fingers on that one, but we'll be able to swap out the bad engine, get that thing going. This is a 6-bolt 4G63 engine for the Eclipse. So this is the one that we're going to be building up for my car. And I got it for $300 from a junkyard with an automatic transmission attached to it that we're going to get rid of. All right, coming outside, we have Peter's box truck. This has been sitting here forever. I don't know what Raylan is. It's a company I guess he bought the box truck from. And yeah, that's a box truck. And this is a 1999 Ford Mustang Cobra. So this is getting the engine that I showed you guys in Engine Alley, because this engine is very locked up and very, very bad. And it's a shame because this was a forged engine back in the day. We found videos of this thing running like a 10.3 mile. It's got a Vortex supercharger. It's a very fast car, and it only has 17,000 miles on it. So this thing sold on eBay back in like 2003 before the engine was blown for $40,000 back in 03 money. So this was a big money car. It is really cool. It's got a roll cage in it and some different racing seats and stuff like that. And it was converted to an automatic. It has a solid rear axle as well. And we are going to put that new engine in after we dissect this one, because I'm dying to see what exactly happened in here. But we will be getting it running. It needs new tires. It's got kind of a cool wing, and I'm really excited to see this thing back on the road. It's kind of a famous car in the world of Mustangs. Now, a car that not many of you guys like, to be honest with you, is my Tesla. So many people don't like electric cars in the car enthusiast world. I get it. They don't have a soul. They don't make any noise. You really can't modify them. But what I think they do well is daily drive. So this is my daily driver. It's a P100D. It goes 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds, runs a 10.5 mile. It's got a really cool interior, heated and cooled seats, which is a feature they discontinued for the Model S until just recently. And overall, this thing is kind of just a unicorn. This is my favorite paint color. This is exactly how I would spec this car if I was buying it new. The sunroof does open. They went to a fixed glass roof about a year after this. And this has the full self-driving autopilot, which was bought originally with the car. It's now a $15,000 option, and it does work. And the reason I say that is just because you buy full self-driving, which again is $15,000, which is insane, doesn't mean you get it right away. They monitor how you drive and grade you. You literally get a score on an app, and then eventually Tesla will deem you a good driver and allow you to not drive again by giving you full self-driving access. You get an update and then it works. So it took me about a year. I finally got it. They had to upgrade the cameras as well because these were the older ones that was grandfathered in. I have full self-driving. It does try to kill me every once in a while, but it is kind of cool technology. And I like the fact that it's grandfathered in on this car forever. So I'll get to just kind of see how this progresses as time goes by. So that's interesting to me as a car enthusiast. But whenever I do anything even remotely close to car enthusiast stuff, like going to car shows, cruise nights and stuff like that, I take gasoline cars. I think they're way more fun, even if they're way slower. This car's super fast, but even if it's way slower, I'd rather drive one of those when trying to have fun in a car. But it's a great daily driver, comfortable, great stereo. I really like the Tesla, about 300 miles of range, and it's been pretty reliable. All right, here's a car that I don't own, but it's Max's car, my editor. So this is his Subaru Outback. We did a bunch of work on this a few months back, lowered it, put some really cool WRX wheels on it. This thing looks really good. Yes, we got to polish out those headlights, but right now he's rolling on his winter wheel and tire setup, and he raised up the suspension a little bit for daily driver duties. But this is Max's Subaru, a dad wagon, if you will. I love the color. This thing is really cool, and he has some more mods planned in the future for it. And speaking of vehicles that can carry many, many human beings. This is my 15-passenger 2012 Chevy Express 3500 van, and it came with a custom wrap right from GM, but this wrap, it gets activated about 10 years after you buy the car, and it grows as time goes on. So this part of the wrap didn't show itself until recently. So I think that's a really cool option that GM gives you. It's kind of like an automatic wrap, if you will. So this is a rust-free 200,000 mile express van. It is straight as an arrow on this side and most everywhere else, except on this side the door hinge broke and they let that door destroy that door, but we'll fix that. And this guy is going to be our tow rig, our car rescue vehicle. We're going to use this a lot. It tows 10,000 pounds stock, but it has a really bad 6-speed transmission in it. There it is.
It's like mooing.
And so we're gonna get that built. It comes with the 6-liter LS. We're gonna boost that, of course. My goal for the van is about 1,000 horsepower, but it's gonna look just like that. It's gonna look like a normal van. We might put a LegitStreetCars logo on the side or something, but we're also going to shoot for a world record that no one has gone for, and that might be because no one's ever thought of this, but we're gonna go for YouTube's biggest boosted launch reaction video. So once this thing is running on some boost and tuned and ready to go, we're gonna stuff 15 people in it with cameras everywhere and get their reaction on camera of boosting a then roughly 10,000 pound van, because that's a lot of weight of humans inside of it. So I'm really excited about the van. I don't plan on selling that guy. We're gonna use it and use it a lot. And right next to it is another 2012 Chevrolet. This, the Caprice PPV flavor. I bought this about 3 years ago. I never thought I would keep it this long, but I fell in love with this car. It's an 80,000 mile police car from Florida. It has no rust. It's in really good shape, but when I got it, of course, I had to drop the entire engine and delete the displacement on demand. And while I was in there, I put a gigantic camshaft in it, long tube headers, a billet torque converter, a different intake. We had it tuned. It dynoed at like 460 wheel. Then I added nitrous to the Caprice, finished up the interior a little bit with a back seat and a proper center console. And we have a car that we use all the time. We do parts runs in this thing. We take this on car rescues as well. It just is super reliable. There's nothing wrong with it. I love it. And now I definitely don't plan on selling it. It's probably worth like, I don't know, $15,000, $16,000, but this is one of those cars where I just rather have the car. This is a ton of car for $15,000, so I'm just gonna keep it. And Peter is gonna keep his Conquest. This is Peter's 1988 Chrysler Conquest TSI, and these guys, they need to rise up in value a little bit more. I'm really surprised these haven't completely blown up. I think these are one of the coolest cars of the 80s. They're rear-wheel drive, turbocharged 4-cylinders, so the 4G63, basically the same engine that's in my Eclipse, and this is the one I showed you guys earlier on the stand, and it's already a built engine. It's brand new, ready to go, so we just got to put it in here. But take a look at this cool 80s retro interior. The seats are awesome, and of course it is a manual transmission. And look at this, it's got automatic climate control. Look at these buttons. Look at the equalizer on this factory radio. This is too cool. Look at this. I don't even know what this does, but it says lift and exit on it. Lift for emergency exit? I don't, what in the world? Hang on, we gotta get Peter on that one. Peter, yeah. What in the world is lift for emergency exit on the Conquest? What is that?
It's the belts, the automatic seat belts.
Oh, yeah. Man, I'd never seen that before, and I'm showing the interior.
It's super, it looks like, what's it called, like a jetpack? Like,
yeah, I was thinking it's like an ejection, a seat ejection yeah. thing.
Ejecto seato, cut!
That is awesome. And we got new parts. All right, we're loading up some car parts in the old daily driver. Got a lot of stuff back here. Well, while you're out here, Peter, how long have you had this guy? And where's it from again?
It's originally a Georgia car. It's still got the sticker.
Oh, nice.
Which I don't want to replace the windshield because I like that sticker.
Oh, we'll save it.
I've had it for 5 years now. 5 years.
And has it ever ran like in your ownership?
No, I drove it. Yeah, I drove it for a while before I destroyed the motor.
What happened to the motor?
It actually it lost oil pressure.
Oh, that stinks.
So oil pressure died, and then I was like 2 blocks away. I was like, I can probably limp it home, and then it locked up.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That new one sitting in the shop is going to be sweet.
Yes.
And so what are the plans? What are like power plans and stuff?
So I think the first stage is just going to be like probably a quick spooling 350 at the wheels, and then I'll probably ramp it up from there.
Nice.
I think it'll probably end up being, I don't know, 500, 600, something like that.
All right. And we will be getting to this car on the channel. We're going to kind of incorporate it in the other DSM build. So we'll probably build the engines like at the same time. His is already built, but we're going to take it apart and check tolerances and clearances and stuff like that. So anyway, Conquest videos coming to a channel near you. This channel is what I mean. Yeah. All right, here's one that hasn't been on the channel in a long time, but I have been using it to go off-roading. So this is my 2000 ML 55 AMG, and this is like my off-roader. We put some 35-inch tires on the factory AMG wheels with some rock rings. This has factory Brembo brakes, which is awesome, 350 horsepower V8 engine. And my guys at Fluid Motor Union built a custom front bumper. We did some lights, a winch, which definitely saved me because I went off-roading with this father-son trip with some other friends. We beat on it on the first day for we got about 4 or 5 hours in. It was doing great. But then here's a vertical cell phone video of what happened. And yeah, you probably heard that snap. That was most likely the transfer case chain. That was a very common failure point on stock MLs, even the 6-cylinder versions. So they don't like when you beat them up off-road with big tires and lift kits and whatnot. So I have to take the transfer case apart, replace that chain, and she should be good to go. No plans on selling this thing. I got it for like $3,800. And again, it's one of those like, what could I get for this thing? Maybe someone's gonna give me like 7-8 grand after we're done with it. Much rather have a really cool and unique off-roading machine. And Fluid is not done with the rear bumper, but we're doing something custom back there as well. So definitely gonna hang on to this guy. All right, out in front, we have Peter's current daily driver, a 2005, I believe, F-150. This is a total cream puff he just picked up. Look at how clean this is, especially for the area. No dents, dings, scratches, rust, anything. It's really nice. And then you gotta subscribe to LegitStreetCars too to see a video on this. So it's not out yet. We are in the process of making it, but this is a very strange car. It was owned and built by an NFL player in the year 2001, and it's only got 30,000 miles, and it's got some weird issues. This is paint, and they went to town. I think they disassembled the entire car to paint it this color. So anyway, check out LegitStreetCars 2 for a one-off video on this guy. All right, it's bright and early the next day, and we're back here at the original Legit Street Quarters. So if you've been following my channel from the beginning or from about up to roughly a year and a half ago, you know that this is where all of the videos were filmed, and it pretty much looks the same. I still have the same toolbox over there, the same bench over there, but yeah, family stuff has started to take over a little bit. But that's okay. That was part of the reason I got Legit Street Quarters anyway. But I do store a couple of cars here. In this case, right now, we have the CL65 AMG. And I know a lot of you guys have been wondering where in the world this car has been. And it's just been right here at my garage. And it runs perfectly. It drives perfectly. Let me give you a little start here. It has the glorious twin turbo V12 M275. And after all the engine work I did to it, that was about it. Drive it every once in a while, very, very rarely. It's really cold out right now. And here she sits. I have it in the raised position right now, but the hydraulic suspension doesn't droop down. It works perfectly fine. Everything is good to go, except I'll address the elephant in the room. Alex, why haven't you ever gotten this thing tuned? Whatever happened with that? And that is something I don't have a really good explanation for, to be honest with you. What I figured out was we put a tune in here after the larger turbos and all the modifications, and every time I'd go wide open throttle and it got into boost, it would just completely cut off. So I spent about a month and a half just trying to research and figure out what that was. And this is another reason why I moved to Legit Street Quarters. There's a plane going by right now, so I have to stop. Okay, so I spent about a month and a half trying to figure out what the issue was. And then my friend Craig over at Modern Masters, he got a 600 as well that was having the same issue right after he put the same tune basically in his car. And we figured out that the coils got where he figured out that the coils get weak after a while. So he sent the coils out to be rebuilt, got it back, and all of a sudden it's back in action. Now that took another couple months for him to send the coils back and forth, and I wasn't gonna do it until he told me it was fixed. So then there goes 4 months of no updates on this car, and then a couple months of me just kind of staring at this and looking at all the other projects and being like, I just want to work on all these other rescue cars right now. So that's about it. That's time flies, I guess. So anyway, I'm taking these coils off right now. I know some engine covers aren't any good because they cover up a nice looking engine, but This whole situation looks cool. Oh, I forgot to fix that too. How did that not fall off? That's what I want to know. All right, I guess the baby's chair is now a cart for my parts. This thing is super expensive, carbon fiber. All right, and here are the coils. Got to take the air boxes off. If you guys saw all the engine videos, you know how this works. All right, so I just loosened up the water to air intercoolers. We're not gonna completely remove these because then we'd have to bleed out all the coolant, but there are these super long coils. These are normally about, I think, $1,200 each. All right, so then with all the bolts out, the coil should come right off. And it's a long one. Don't pry on it from any end or you could crack the thing, so just kind of be gentle. She'll come off. All right, that's loose, should come right out. There we go. One coil's out. All right, both coils are out, and I'm gonna send out the voltage transformer to be inspected. That was already rebuilt. It has an aftermarket sticker on there. But yeah, basically this isn't an issue if you have a stock V12. I mean, coils can definitely go bad and cause misfires, but as far as it cutting out when you go wide open throttle, from what Craig and I and the guys who rebuild these have figured out, is that it's when you up the boost pressure, you need to lower the gap on the spark plug just a little bit and then have these rebuilt, and I think they do a couple internal upgrades so they can handle more voltage. So anyway, I will ship these out, hopefully have them back in like a month when we'll still probably have snow on the ground, but hopefully soon I'll have some dyno results on the CL65. But with that, let's go start the E55 wagon. So this is another one I don't ever plan on selling. This is my roughly 700-ish horsepower Whipple supercharged E55 wagon, another car that I need to get dyno tuned. I think I'm just gonna do both of these in one day. We'll just make one video of tuning both of these cars. But she has an amazing bass tune. We have an AFR gauge in the car. It runs perfect, feels amazing, and sounds really good too. So this guy just sits in my home garage. It is complete. There's really nothing left on it other than that final tune. Sounds basically like a stock one, to be honest with you, when you first fire it up. And we're running the stock mufflers and resonator as well, so it's very, very tame until you get on it. It's kind of cold, but I'll give it a little. I love this E55 wagon. I don't know when I would ever sell this. Like, how do you replace such a cool, iconic car? So that'll be around for a while. Stay tuned for the dyno videos on both of these. And one that we did dyno and that has been complete for about 10,000 miles, my wife's Cadillac Escalade. So this is her 2015 Cadillac Escalade Platinum ESV. And I secretly supercharged this Escalade. She didn't know anything about it about 10,000 miles ago, and it has been perfect. This is our daily driver and our family hauler and everything in between, and it's been an amazing truck. We had a lot of fun with this thing. My wife drag raced it at the track as well. Go. Get him. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
I'm trying.
Come on, come on, come on. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And we dyno tuned it, so it does have about 640 crank horsepower. So I just got done putting some nice Michelin snow tires on it, so she is ready to go. Actually, I do have to change the oil on this, and I'm gonna put a larger throttle body on it and do a trans tune, and then another dyno tune, and try and make it faster than a new Cadillac Escalade V. So that is coming up. But other than that, this thing is ready to rock, and it'll probably be used here in the next hour or so. And here's what the Tesla looks like sometimes. It doesn't always get a garage spot. All right, I've let the E55 wagon warm up for a little bit. Let's head back to Legit Street Quarters, and I'll go over all the cars that aren't with us any longer because they've either been completed or we gave them away or something. All right, guys, so those are all of the cars that we still have either at my house or here at Legit Street Quarters. But we have, I think, like 12 cars that we've either finished or given away or sold or something. They're not here anymore. So I'm gonna quickly go through these just to give you a full update on everything. So we had the Subaru Outback giveaway. So that was a Subaru that was given to me. We fixed everything on it. It was a big pain in the butt. We tried giving it away once.
I had to get back to you.
The guy said no.
Does that count as two giveaways?
Kind of. And then we found a younger guy named Jerry to give it to. He was taking care of his mom with cancer, and they needed a car, so we gave him a Subaru Outback that needed nothing. It was perfect.
She's doing well, too.
And she's doing well, so an
that's a great
update on his mom. So also, we have the white LT1 Trans Am. That was kind of short-lived. That was the one that I pressure washed that had been sitting outside. It was a car I walked by as a kid, and that kind of got me into F-bodies. So it was rotted out. It was pretty far gone, and so I gave that to Eli, who owns the Fox Body Mustang. And Eli also owns a Formula that had a blown-up LT1 engine, and this one had an LT1 engine that had been replaced like 5,000 miles prior. Then it was just abandoned forever. So he was able to pluck the engine out of that and then part out the rest of the car to pay for the Fox Body and for his Firebird and stuff like that. So it's the circle of car community love.
That computer came back to us in the Corvette.
It did, yes. We ended up using the computer for the Corvette. So, so everything kind of comes around. Anyway, we have the E30, another giveaway car. So we had a 1989 325i. We raised about $60,000 for the National MS Society for that car. People bought entries, one entry for $5. The money went directly to the MS Foundation. So with that car, we raised $60,000, so that was really cool. And then we ended up giving that car away to a guy named Tony, and what was that, in Dayton, Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we drove it all the way to Tony in Dayton. He has MS, he's had it for quite a while, over a decade, and he is still enjoying that car. He sends me pictures every once in a while. So that was a really cool project. E39 BMW, the green one, I bought that for like $700. That was part of the Legit Flip series, where the main goal, the only goal for that car was to make money. So I fixed a lot on that. I think I made one video, it was like an hour and 10 minutes on fixing 67 individual things. Yeah, and then we detailed it. We did the seats.
Yes.
Remember the seats were painted?
I still have paint on the boots from those seats.
Yeah, I think I threw those shoes away. That one literally had Home Depot paint on the seats, but we restored the interior. It looked beautiful when we were done. I ended up selling that. I forget all the numbers, but I think I made like $4,000 on that or something like that. That was a fun car. Sold it to a really nice guy who then drove it a few hours home. It's been perfect ever since. Rolls Royce. I had a 1961, Rolls Royce Silver Cloud 2 that I bought probably a couple years ago, and we finished everything on it. We had the seats redone. That took 6 months, unfortunately. We fixed a bunch of mechanical items, and then I sold that, and that was also a really legit flip. I think I made like $10,000 on that car, but I bought it at a really low point, sold it at a high point, and fixed a bunch of stuff. So that was cool. IROC Camaro. That was a fun trip. We picked that up with the Escalade, the Supercharged Escalade, on a trailer. It was supposed to be a rust-free abandoned car, and we got there, and it had like a hole in the door, and everything was rotted out. So anyway, we still bought it. It was $1,500.
We did get it to fire up, though.
Yeah, we did get it to fire up, but it was just, wasn't anything I was into. It was a 305 hardtop, so I love IROCs, but if I was gonna like fully restore one, it would be a T-top one with 350. So we ended up giving that away to Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mitchell, yeah, right. And Mitchell actually sent me one of my tools back in the mail a few days ago. We left it in the Camaro, and he gave us a little note, and he updated us on the car. Him and his dad are working on it in the garage. They're going to be doing a 383 stroker and a manual transmission conversion. So that was a really, really cool thing. That Mitchell got his first car was an IROC, and he's fixing it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Alpina just left.
Yeah.
It just left. We had Sam Crack's Alpina that he bought at an auction. He'd never actually seen the car. It came from Michigan to Chicago, and it was rough. Scratched, it was keyed, vandalized, back glass was bashed out. There was water in the trunk. All the control units were like fried. But we fixed all the control units. BMW wanted $15,000 to fix them. We did it for $150. And then that car was great. Ended up selling that car, and yeah, ran and drove nicely. C63 AMG, still in progress. It's not here right now, but I still have it. It's in West Virginia at Modern Masters. So that's my giveaway car with modsandmiles.com. I'll leave a link down below if you want to enter to win it. But it still does not have a functioning engine. It had a blown up engine. I ordered a new used engine with like 50,000 miles, and they had pressure washed the engine at the junkyard where they pulled it out of, and the water sat in the cylinders and rusted it. So that was junk. But
that was such heartbreak.
I know. Yeah. It's like a $7,500 engine they ruined because they pressure washed it to make it look clean. I don't know. Anyway, I just got another used engine for that car. It's at Modern Masters right now. They took the heads off for me so I don't waste a flight out there, and everything looks good. I mean, it doesn't look perfect. We got to do timing chain and guides, but we're good to go. So I'm actually flying out this month to then drive it home, hopefully this time. Coupe Quattro Audi. That was a cool car. We kind of rescued, had been sitting around for like 10 years. And then we sold that one. It was just too much work.
Yeah, it was a big one.
It was too much work for a car that we didn't really have that much interest in. Let's just put it this way. If it was a Grand National, I would have done the work. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know like anything about that car before Peter saw it in this driveway. And it was fun and cool, but anyway, we sold that for like $4,000. Yeah. So that wasn't bad. Supercharged E63, my friend Craig at Modern Masters has a 2011 E63 212 chassis. I put a prototype VRP supercharger on it, and it made like 600 wheel horsepower with like 3 pounds of boost. It was awesome. So that's not my car. Craig still has it, and I'll be visiting it soon when I go to West Virginia. The blue WS6 is not with us any longer.
Oh, yeah.
That sold for $25,000 on modsandmiles.com. 49,000 mile, gorgeous 6-speed manual, navy blue metallic WS6. We kind of demodded some stuff, you know, just made it look better, I think. $25,000, so that wasn't bad. That one, we had like 13 into it, so that was a good deal. Giveaway ML500 just left the shop for Christmas. We bought
twice.
it twice, right? I bought a 2006 ML500 to give away and surprise a Marine veteran with, and we did that successfully on Christmas Eve, right? Or was it the day before Christmas Eve? I don't remember. It was enough time for him to drive back to Kentucky to visit his family, which he wasn't going to be able to do without a car. So we gave him a car. He was able to do that, except the next day the radiator blew up. So me and Peter stayed late night. The video is on LegitStreetCars too, if you want to check it out. But we stayed late night, did a radiator in record time, and got him his car back so he could go back and visit his family. So that thing's doing well. And then the last but not least is that 1987 Porsche 924S. The guys at JR Garage bought that from Copart right by our shop, and they just want the seats out of it. So we ended up giving that away also. So we took the seats out for them, gave the entire car away to a young guy who was going to rebuild it, I think with his uncle. So that was cool. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think I've gone through like, I mean, we have, I don't know how many, 15 here, 12 there, like something upper 20s, a lot of cars. So that was 1 year. And we have a lot going on this year already, and multiple cars we haven't revealed to you. We're working on a bunch of projects at the same time to continually pump out 1 or maybe 2 videos a week. So with that, I hope you guys really enjoyed this car update video. I hope it answered a ton of your questions. And I hope you're excited about 2023 as much as we are.
We got some great stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be killer, guys. So anyway, with that, if you enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up. Share the video with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already. Most importantly, have an awesome day. We'll see all of you in the next video. And hope that it has around 500-ish wheel horsepower in my picture. This is like a perfect time to show you guys what Peter does a lot of the times, which is We've already done all of this. We've already taken the engine apart. Let me try that again. So this is half Mercedes, half Jap. So this is half Mercedes, half, what is it, a Honda? Speaking of multi-racial, can I say that? This is kind of multi-racial, right? So here's my 1995, right? Or is it a 96? 5, right? I think it is. Just a little bit. And then it came from Michigan to Chicago I would have done the work, but safety first. The more you know.